resurgence of religions worldwide. And whereas religious commitment may be dying in parts of Western Europe, the rest of the world is challenging secularism. And perhaps out of that conflict, a more open society to other religious viewpoints will develop, which will then ensure religious freedom for those for whom it's denied today. We must not, however, return to state religion or state churches. We must promote freedom for all by separation of religion from the state. That's what I believe. Fifthly and finally, when religion becomes secular, I believe is the real threat to religious freedom. It could be that the greatest challenge of secularism to religion is when religion allows secularism to define its theology and who and what it believes. Jacob Neuster examines Judaism and concludes that secularism's influence has been devastating. What secular Jews have learned after 3 decades of public Judaism is quite neglectful of the private life is alas that the coming generations found no self-evident truth in the Judaism of blood and iron. At least none that had bearing upon the family, upon Is it any wonder in Europe and places in North America that there's a great exodus of youth from religion? The problem is that secularization of religion from within falls well within the framework that treats all truth as relative, all learning is negotiable, and all morality is instrumental. In conclusion, it seems to me that the greatest challenge of secularism to religion is when men and women of faith accommodate their religion to a political correctness demanded of the cultural elites, governments, and media. Many of these secular institutions want to control or even see the death of religion, just as Khrushchev wanted to see the last Christian on television. Religion will die when it no longer focuses on God, but focuses on autonomous man. Religion will thrive when it lets God be God. Therefore, as we begin this Congress, let us accept the challenge and be men, women, and women of faith, acting and speaking God's truth in love and peace for all humanity. Thank you. It's now my privilege to introduce our General Secretary, Dr. John Gratz. We thank Dr. Gratz for all the work that he's put in and his staff to making this Congress possible. Dr. Gratz, we look forward to hearing your report.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great privilege for me as Secretary General to give for the first time the report of the International Religious Liberty Association and to be part of this Congress, the 7th Congress on Religious Freedom. The first time I had this privilege was in Rio in 1997. Several of you were there in Rio. Can I see your hand, please? Those who attend the Congress in Rio? Okay, I can see several of you. And I would like to know also how many of you were in London in 1989. I can ask them to stand up. London. Not a lot. Not a lot. And what about in Rome in 1948, 1984? In Rome, how many of you? Oh, almost no one. And how many of you were in Amsterdam in 1977? How many of you were in Amsterdam, 1970? At least one, Dr. Bird Beach. Can you stand up? I think maybe one or two, yeah, maybe one or two. you know, it means that we have really established a tradition of the World Congress. Rio was my first Congress as Secretary General, and I had the great pleasure to have among the guest speakers Professor De La Hera, who is here with us, Ambassador Robert Seipel, Professor Rosa Maria Martinez de Codes, and we had also in Rio, if I remember well, of course, Denton Lutz, and also Professor Cole Durham. They all will be with us for this Congress. I am also very proud to welcome about 50 experts, religious experts of religious freedom, officials from government, and of course all of you who are members of NGOs and are involved directly or indirectly in the promotion and the defense of religious freedom. Altogether, you represent 80 different nationalities. And of course, as Denton said, it's a great pleasure to be here in Punta Cana. And in the morning, when you get up and you look at the beaches, you look at the swimming pool, you may ask the question, what am I doing here in this great resort? I have the answer to the questions. You are here, we are here to affirm and to further the cause of religious freedom. It's not vacation for us. And also I have to say that as Robert, this 7th World Congress will make history. With more than 800 participants, it is the largest World Congress ever organized. And thank you, President, for your support. I would like also to thank all those who have worked on these events, and I mentioned several names: our manager, Daisy Orion, my close team, Dr. Ganoun Diop, Attorney Leslie, Bettina Krause, Carol Rasmussen, Gail Banner, the Inter-America team led by Pastor Roberto Herrera and his president, Israel Leto, and the Dominican Republic team led by Attorney Miguel Nunes and Pastor Acevedo. I want also to mention our Vice President, Dr. Delbert Baker, who is with us, and also Dr. William Johnson. Both of them help us in this Congress in many ways. As we begin this great event, I want also to remember two good friends that were with us in several World Congress. They could have been with us today. The first one is Karel Novak, Secretary General of the Association for the Defense of Religious Freedom, and Professor Abdel Fattah Amor, former United Nations Special Rapporteur. Karel Novak died in August 19, 2011, as he was going to Sydney to attend our meeting of experts. And Professor Amor passed away in January this year. We cannot also open this 7th World Congress without remembering those who are victims of religious persecution. Millions of believers and non-believers are discriminated, deprived of their right